Hey guys, Justin here coming at you from the 4x4 test tent with another unboxing video. This is another one from Amazon. It's a company called Koray lights or Koray LED. They are making a quantum board style, but it's a little bit different than what you'd normally see. This is actually going to be an LM281B plus diode setup with over almost 3,400 diodes on this thing. So yeah, let's crack this thing open and see what we got. As usual, we have the heat meter, the power meter, the watt meter, and the meter, and then of course baby Katana here to crack it all open. Let's get the meters out of the way and we'll get into the box. Back edge there. That's the tough one. Alright, there we go. Right, decently packed. That edge off there. And there we go. Wow, that is a lot of diodes. Holy crap. Check that out. That is a ridiculous amount of diodes on there. I like the design on there, the little leaf design. That's kind of cool. I haven't seen that before. Usually they just have the little whatever name brand or whatever there. So that's something new and neat. Really shiny metal too. This is a very little bit more polished. Not quite polished. There's still a matte finish. And then they have some corner blocks here. That's something else I haven't really seen on a lot of these lights. It's not overly heavy, so it's definitely using aluminum. Nice and light. Kind of angle that a little bit there. So we've got a double driver setup, it looks like. Two of the XLG 240-H-AB with the dimmer attached. So yeah, we got the dimmer over here, and that's got a daisy chain capability, and then full dimming capability as well. On-off switch on the back. Everything's got the humidity-proof connections. Everything's sealed with rubber grommets, so it'll be really good for humidity control on the light. And then it also has, as you can see, it has the coating, the water-resistant coating across the front as well. So really standard from what we see from a lot of the LM301B and LM301H style Samsung board lights. But this is using the 281. So the main difference is going to be less efficiency, unfortunately. It is it's going to be a lower cost for the diodes, so they can use more and they can run them lower, so they are going to run fairly efficient. But overall, the diode itself lacks in efficiency to the LM301B by about 25%. So it's not an LM301B killer by any means, but with enough of them on here and running them at a lower wattage, should be able to get really good performance, really good efficiency, and then also really good longevity out of it as well. So let's get this hooked up and see what we can find out, and get the meter under it and see what we can do. We do have a manual here, actually. Let's take a look at the manual real quick. So this is what we've got. Just a basic how to hook it up, how to hook up the daisy chain, some basic hanging height info. Warranty: can be returned or replaced within 30 days after delivery. 90 days all free warranty, free components, free everything. 3 years free components, and you'll have to pay let's see, 3 months to a year you'll have to pay shipping to them, but they'll pay all the fees. fix it and ship it back. And then after the first year, or no, 3 months to the first year, yeah, is that. And then 1 year to 3 years, free components, but you have to pay the shipping back and forth both ways, which is gonna be a ton. To ship this light, it's probably a good 30-40 bucks at least, if not more. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be some charges. Safety important, precautions, yeah, blah blah blah. Here's their different models that they have. Pause that if you want to take a look. This is the G-4000-E model. And then for hanging hardware, let's see what we got. Get the light out of the way here. Hanging hardware, pretty basic. I'd like to see a little bit heavier hanging hardware. Honestly, I probably won't use this because I honestly don't trust this style of hanger for this large of a light. I just don't. So we'll throw those out of the way, and I'll use rope ratchets. They do send you a few rope ratchets here, and they are the plastic gear rope ratchets, and then they got the daisy chain cord there. But yeah, let's get it hooked up and see what she puts out. All right, guys, we are back and have this all hooked up now. It's pretty sweet looking, man. All those diodes, holy crap! Check that out. Wow. That is definitely impressive looking with that many diodes on there. And you can see there's some red and some IR. It's 3000 and 5000K mixed, and then they've got some reds and a few IRs mixed in. Looking nice though. Good looking light, honestly. So this is at the lowest power here, and this is kind of like the Mars switch, where you can actually switch off the dimmer completely, and then it just sends the light into full blast. Or you can run the dimmer and then go by the dimmer there. So let's get the watt meter fired up here. There we go. There's the wattage at minimum, and we are at 24 inches as usual. 24 inches, maybe a hair under, just a butt hair, maybe one click. I think it settled a little bit. Sometimes it settles after I set it. So we'll go up one click on all four sides, and that should get us that little distance there. Bam, right there. All right, now we're good. Always got to double check that. So now we'll get our meter centered. We'll see what we're pushing. 100 par, 99 in the middle at minimum, and that's pushing what, 51 watts? Meh. I mean, you could clone with it. You could definitely clone with it. Let's crank this up here. Let's go up to 20%. And that's going to bring us to 170. So pretty much still in the kind of strong cloning territory, I would say, at 20%. That's putting out 84 watts. See if we can get into veg at 40% here. Alright, there we go, 40%. And boy, we're still not quite into veg. 268. Alright, let's go up 60%. 60%. Now we gotta be in veg. Yep, there we go. All right, so 60%, 24 inches off the canopy, looking 400, which is going to be good for veg, 350 to 400. So really, I would say probably like, I don't know, 50% would be good for veg. Let's see, go to 50%. 50%, yep, 366. That's about perfect, really. About 350, 375. That's what I use usually. So that's about 50%. Let's go to 80%. Now we should be in flower territory. And we are. And the meter shut off. There we go, 630. That's great. That's great. That's enough for decent bud production. Now let's crank it all the way up to max. There we go. And now we're kicking it. Now we're cooking, man. Almost 900. 895. 895. Killing the game. All right, now we'll take our trusty tent pole here. And we'll shove this sucker up against the back wall. And we'll see what we're reading back there. .430 on the back wall. So a little bit lacking. A little bit lacking, I would say, on the par. That's not really going to give you super chunky buds. Will give you bud. That's 100% certain. But it's not really going to give you anything really super chunky. So let's go over to the side here. And about 500. You could get away with that. You could get away with 500. 500 is about the minimum that I recommend to flower with, period. I don't like to go below that. Like I said, you're gonna get bud and you're gonna be able to smoke something. It's just not gonna be like that really nice dense like rock candy stuff that you see in the dispensaries, like the high-end stuff. It's gonna be a little more airy, a little more loose, but still gonna get you high. So everybody has their own little way of growing. Not everybody can have the big bad light like the fucking Scorpion here. This thing's like, what, more than twice the price of this? That's a big difference, yo. Huge. Got to start somewhere. Everybody's got to start somewhere. We got the two drivers on the back looking good. Let's fire up the power meter some more. We'll check the corners. Oh wait, that's the jacked up corner. Let's go to this corner. That corner's all fucked. There we go. Put it in the corner. And seems pretty consistent. 400 to 500 all the way around. So 400 to 500 all the way around the tent, no matter what you're looking at. So I mean, you could get away with this, definitely. I would say in a 4x4 if you wanted to. If you wanted to. I would honestly rock this in a 3x3. Like, yeah. To me, this is something I would consider for a 3x3 light, just because it's going to cover the entire tent. The entire tent. What's the length on this thing? What do we got? Yeah, it's 24 inches long. So, perfect. And how wide? About 19 inches wide. So yeah, you can stuff this in a 3x3 and rock the shit out of it. Killing the game. But for a 4x4, I would say there's better stuff out there for a 4x4 space, to be quite honest. So if they're giving a pretty deep discount, then pretty cool. But they're gonna have to discount this quite a bit to keep up with companies like Spider Farmer and stuff like that, that are using the LM301Bs and just crushing numbers like crazy for around the same price. So they got a little bit to work on. They got something to start with, and I know they have a lot of other models too. This is just one that they sent me, and hopefully we'll get some of their other models. They got some other cool stuff. I don't know if I can really tell you about it, but they got some cool stuff, I'll tell you that. I know they're not really trying to get it out in the open yet, but hopefully I'll be able to get a hold of some of it and show you guys. Alright, I'm gonna drop this thing down, or I already did drop it down, to 18 inches. So I really want to see if this is going to affect the outside very much. I don't think it's going to really make any gains. All it really does is make the center brighter, because that's the least amount of distance that you're, or the distance that you're shortening the quickest, I guess you should say. From here to here, you got an angle, so when you lower it, it's not really affecting that distance very much. Here, it's affecting it directly. So your par is going to go up quicker in the middle by far than any of the edges. That's just how lighting works due to the inverse square law. But this is at 18 inches now, and we're sitting at 1278 in the middle, which is super strong. Like I said, it's gonna make the middle just beast out like crazy. So let's push it up to the edge here, and we'll see what we're looking at. Imagine it's not going to be all that great because of the angle of the light. So we're looking at, oh, the meter shut off. All right. So 500 on that edge. I don't think I got it all the way to the edge. Not quite. Yeah, see. You go all the way to the edge. Now we're at 430. So 430 to 500 on the edge. That's at least going to take you to being able to flower. So I mean, you're going to pick up a little bit. The corner, I think, is going to suffer quite a bit though at this angle, but we'll see. Oh yeah, 345. Yeah, that's kind of brutal. Try this side just for kicks. $472. So it's right there. Like, you could use this in a 4x4, but at this height, you're really making the middle hard to manage. At 1270 in the middle, that's going to be really, really tough to keep that healthy unless you're really on your nutrients and everything. So it is going to create quite a bit of a hot spot in the middle with this light. Unfortunately, let's kick it over to this side just for fun. Oh, and it went off again. All right, let's go meter. Yeah, 450. So if we angle it in a little bit, give it the benefit, 540. So I mean, if you angle it, which the leaves are going to turn towards the light, you are hitting 540. So I don't know. It's just right on the cusp of being able to crush a 4x4. I think it'll definitely work in a 4x4, but I don't think it will smash a 4x4. I think it'll do well, especially in the middle. I would probably run it at maybe around 20 inches I think 18 might be a little bit low, and 24 might be a little bit high. So that's my take on it. Yep. So let's go ahead and let it get warmed up, and we'll see what kind of readings we can get. Alright guys, we are back, and we have let this thing warm up for a couple of hours now. It's definitely plenty warm to take a test now. So let's fire up the thermal gun here. We're looking about 117. It's actually really good. Now this is the more shiny metal, so it may not accurately hit it, but there is a sticker here on the side. So if I hit the sticker, it actually stays the same. So it's reading fairly accurate. Let's go to the driver. Oh yeah, the driver's definitely hotter. Wow, the driver's actually really hot. That's one of the hottest I've seen as far as drivers running. So they're pushing these drivers really, really hard. But the diode's not so much. So that's interesting. That's a definite difference from a lot of them. So a lot of them read like 125, 130 on the board, and then around 130 on the driver. 125 or 30 on the driver, about the same. So this one's lower on the board and much higher on the driver. Interesting. Let's get the little side casing here. 93 on the switch. And my final take on the light, basically, it's gonna work for a 4x4 decently. It's not gonna crush it and set any records or anything like that. The middle is gonna be a little bit harder to manage. The outside is gonna be pretty decent, but they kind of need to work on the price, in my opinion, because other lights in the category, like, you know, the Spider Farmer SF4000 that I've tested, that thing kills the game pretty hard, and it's around the same price, around the same wattage. This does have a really good, or should have a really good lifespan on the diodes, because they do run the diodes very, very, very low. But it seems like they're pushing the drivers pretty hard. But they're meanwhile drivers, so I mean, you shouldn't have a problem with that. It's all good parts. Like, that's the thing. There's nothing to talk bad about this light on the parts quality. The build quality seems to be good. The construction's good. Everything seems pretty good. It's just the output. I would like to see just a little bit more squeezed out of it. If they would have just maybe driven those diodes just a little bit more to give me just a little bit more out of it. I think they had more room, because from the heat test, it wasn't running very hot on the board, and even touching it, it doesn't feel definitely as hot as it could be, as hot as I felt with other ones, and not as hot as the driver, that's for sure. The driver is scorching hot. So I think they could improve on this light by getting larger drivers and pushing the lights a little bit more, or the diodes a little bit more, and then they could really, really crush with this one. But I don't know, you guys make the call. I think it would kill it in a 3x3 or a 3.5 by 3.5. 100% kill it. What do we got? Yeah, it's 24 inches long, so perfect. And how wide? About 19 inches wide. So yeah, you can stuff this in a 3x3 and rock the shit out of it. But 4x4, you make the call. Hopefully you enjoyed the unboxing and update. Until next time, happy growing.